But I think when you are able to sit in your own skin and give yourself grace and give yourself love and make yourself a priority, then when you are navigating life, it's so much more easy because you're not wearing a mask. You're not trying to fit in what other people think you should be like, and you're okay with yourself. And I think that is really the essence of taking back happy is learning to be okay with who you are.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Taking Back Happy. I'm your host, Gina Granville, God's girl, retired homeschool mom of 4, empty nester, Gigi, essential oil and exercise enthusiast, Christian life coach, and someone who's taken back her own happy. I know many of you feel exactly like me in these midlife years, a sort of loss of direction, but way too young and vibrant to sit on the porch and just watch life go by. What if you could reimagine your life, finding deep joy, renewed passion, and purpose, and plenty of adventure in these midlife years? If you're ready to rediscover God's joy and purpose in this season of life, throw on those walking shoes, pop in those earbuds, and join me right here as we take back happy together. All right, I have a special treat for you all tonight. I have my friend Lawana Schrieffer here, and let me tell you just a little bit about her. She is an introvert extrovert, meaning that she loves building community. She can talk to anyone. I mean, I've seen this in firsthand, but afterwards, she needs a couple of days to stay home and recover. She loves walks. She loves sunsets. She loves the beach. And she's a large matcha in her favorite coffee shop. So if I even say that right, I'm not the coffee girl. She's a creator of the program Wonderfully You. She's in a coaching business focused on helping women to gain clarity and courage and confidence around their identity and worth. And she leads a free weekly meetup of women called Coffee Talk. And I've been to that. It's a lot of fun. So she gets together to learn about topics centered around personal development. And her mantra is, life gets to be good again. All right. Take it away, Lawana. I love this. I'm so excited you're here. This could be bad because we talk a lot. So we want to try to stay within the
We don't have a stopwatch. We need a timer.
I know. We definitely need a timer because we've been known to get on the phone and talk about just random things for, 2 hours or something. So,
yes. So this is definitely a test of what is that? Practicality and function.
Yeah.
It's not about us. It's not about us.
Formal function, not just
right?
chit-chat.
Right.
So you've had like a pretty cool experience this last year. You've been a Christian as long as I've known you, but you've been on this really amazing like faith walk the last year. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell our listeners about that.
Well, I'm really glad to be here, Gina. Thanks for having me. And I promise to show up well. You won't have to like delete anything, I don't think. I'm not guaranteeing, but I'm trying to say it'll be okay. It will be okay. I was thinking about this the other day. I think I came to Christ when I was around 27 and I'm 57 now. So 30 years. And it has been such a journey of ups and downs, but it's always been worth saying yes to Jesus, right? And over the last year, I have recognized that I really needed to deepen my trust in the Lord. And so I actually wrote it to him in my journal and said, I really don't trust you. I think that you can, but I don't.
Straight out with it. You're just flat out.
Let him know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't trust you, but I know you can, but I don't know if you will. And so over the last year, it's been about a year now, I've just really been deepening a connection with him, getting to know his character and being able to see that he doesn't change. He's not like man that he shall lie. It's one of the scriptures. And so it's just really been a great journey of intimacy with him over the last year and really getting to know that his yes is yes. And that when he does things, it's always going to be for our good. It might not feel good. It might not be what we wanted, but in his own way, he will make it be something good for us. So God is good and he does good. And that's what I've learned over the last year.
What is the most surprising thing that you've discovered in this faith journey? Is there something that really surprised you about his character, or something that stood out? Like, was it opposite of what you thought, or was different, or was
I thought that he was moody. So that how he treated me was dependent on how good I did. So if I was good, then he might give me something, and if I was bad, he would withhold from me. And I learned that God's definition of good is so different from mine. It's not based on what I'm doing. It's based on who he says he is. So although we are in this like partnership and that we are like, I'm his daughter, it isn't based on me being good. It's based on the fact that God is good. And that was such a relief. That was a weight off my shoulders, because it made me feel like I always had to get things right. I always had to figure things out on my own. I needed to be perfect for God to show up. And he's like, I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to be willing. And
what a relief to not have to be performing all the time,
all the time.
jumping through hoops and doing all the things.
Yeah. So it was more freedom in my relationship on this side of this trust fall than I had before, where I was performing or trying to hold up some standard that he never set.
Right. He's like, girl, just relax and be my girl.
Just sit here with me and
Yeah.
let's talk. Yeah. So
Right.
get your matcha. I love that you guys. You want me to have this matcha, right?
He's like, go for it.
Go get it.
We've been talking for years about this taken back happy concept, right?
Yes.
And I just want to get some of your thoughts on that today, because it's such a broad topic. It's obviously the theme of my life, and it's been the theme of your life as well, actually. So
I remember, we walked a bridge. I at least 5 years, at least three to 5 years of walking a bridge pretty dang consistently. And I do remember talking to you and asking you, is it okay for us to be happy after we were coming out of a divorce? And I had probably came across this thing online that said, God created you for holiness, not for happiness, or God is okay to have joy, but not happiness. There was all these little messages in the Christian circles about how happiness is not something that you should be attempting to gain. Like there was something wrong with wanting to be happy. It was selfish. It was self-serving. Yeah.
I still see those messages in my Facebook. Even this week, I've seen some messages like that.
Wow.
About like, we're seeking joy, that, it's not the circumstances, it's not running after, the happiness. I guess because things get taken so far to one side, and then people try to bring it, I don't know, try to bring it back. Like,
yeah, I used to too. I think what happens is we forget that there's nuances and that there's a range of things, like from being selfish and only running after happiness at the detriment of other people on one end. And then we go to the other extreme. Well, you don't need to be happy. Happy is wrong. So we have one side is like, you only care about your own personal happiness. And the other side is like, you should not even think about being happy. That is not allowed. And it's like, okay, there's got to be something in the middle. God, I remember you saying, but God created emotions. And one of the emotions he gave us was happiness. And we were talking about just nature, how like seeing a rainbow. Do you know how many people post pictures after they see a rainbow and they're so excited and they're so happy for that experience? And it was like, okay, God created the emotion. God created experiences where we get to experience that emotion of happiness. So neither one of these sound like they can be the answer to how we're supposed to approach happiness, right?
Right. Yeah.
We don't.
I'm thinking about the Chosen. I just started watching it last year, and they do such a good job at bringing out just the joy and the happiness and the hanging out, like when Jesus is hanging out with the disciples and stuff. and they're just being real and authentic, but there's lots of laughter and joy and music. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think when people try to make these blanket statements, they're talking to people that they think are taking advantage or seeing something the wrong way. But it usually falls on people who are suffering. That's what I felt like during a divorce when we would see things like God hates divorce. Maybe it's talking to someone who is utilizing divorce in such a harmful way, like they've been married 5 times and divorced 6 times, like that they're not utilizing it in a God way.
Yeah.
But those people don't care about what people think about what.
That's true. That's so true.
Yeah. They're not
Right.
reading that and like, oh my gosh, they are right. I need to like change my whole life and not. It's the people who are struggling, going through a divorce, not sure, not scared. The ones who are fearful, who don't want to make a mistake, who's fought to be in a marriage a long time, and they're the one who is saying God hates divorce, and they're the ones who are getting harmed by it. So yeah, I think we have to be careful about the things that we post like that, where it's all or nothing.
Right. Right. I think it is condemning to the person that has the heart after God, you know. And it's not really condemning to the person that doesn't care. I mean, I never thought about that till you just said that, but so it's kind of like the person that you're going for
Isn't reading that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not impacting them. It's
Right.
not impacting them. But the other little person who's already scared that they're not quite sure if they're making the right choices, it
Right.
causes a lot of harm.
Yeah, that's true. So what are some things that kind of keep us from taking back our happy?
As women, I think we're last on our list of priorities.
Oh,
That's we're not even on the list. And so we have to first come to an understanding that we are important too, and we need to be a priority. And I know a lot of times if you're coming out of something like a divorce or something that's been hard, a change in your job, a career, a loss, you might be in survival mode. And survival mode does not leave room for higher ways of being cognitively connected to life. It's like you're surviving. So you might be shut down. You might be a little bit depressed. You could be anxious and stressed out. And happiness is in a realm of being able to connect to other people, being able to just not be fighting or flying or, for your life, like you're okay. And so it's when you're regulated that you can start thinking about happiness. When you're surviving, that feels so far off.
that makes sense because this whole like taking back happy came out of going through a really hard time and going through a hard divorce and going through like, oh my gosh, my kids, what's going to happen? And fear and lots of, angst, like, I don't
doubt.
Yes, doubt and
Yeah.
not knowing what you should do and where you should go. And is it even possible to take it back?
Right.
You feel like that when you're in that like pit.
You're not, I don't even know. I don't remember us even thinking about happiness when we're signing divorce papers or we're meeting up with the lawyer. It was like, that was not even a thought. It was surviving. How can we support our children and survive? How can we get all the little things done and survive? Like, how can we make it through one day at a time? Happiness is expansive. It's for people who have hope. It's people who have the ability to see beyond their current circumstances. And you can't really do that in survival mode, right? You're just trying to make it. You're just trying to make it. So I think survival mode is one thing that can keep us from taking back happy status is, we're not in that mode yet. Another thing I think as you're moving through things is who are you hanging out with? It can be the circle of people you're with. Are you with people who are negative, who are always complaining? Are you with people who are always saying, Gina was with me and I was the person who was like, if there was something that's going to go wrong, like I would point it out. Like I would be like, well, this could happen. Or I was one of those, the other shoe will drop. Like, oh, don't enjoy this moment because the other shoe might drop and you wouldn't, you don't want to be caught off guard enjoying something. So yeah, you really have to work on you need to be really careful about who you're hanging out with, because there's a lot of people who, with the best of intentions, are
Right.
speaking, they're not speaking life. They're speaking words of discouragement, words that increase your doubt, words that just keep you stuck. And so you want to watch out for your circle of friends,
Right.
especially in a big transition.
I think it's a fine line because you're really good at asking tough questions, And so in one way it's helpful. And then in the other way, like you said, if you see it all like, oh, everything that could possibly go wrong,
Yeah.
what about looking at everything that could possibly go right? It's like that
Yeah.
tiny mind shift.
Just a little shift. I was like, I'll do the wrong. You can talk about the right. I don't know. Why would you want to look at the right when it's probably going to go wrong? It's just, yes, you really have to be careful who you're spending time with. You don't have to not love them, but especially in a time of transition, you want to have a really safe circle of friends. You want to be able to express yourself. But you also want somebody who's going to hold up a mirror to you. They're not going to be like, girl, you're just the best. Everything you think and say is right. He was horrible. Like, you want somebody supportive, but somebody that you can actually be seen by and be safe with that also.
I love that. And it's like, okay, our parents were right. I mean, that's what they were saying as you're growing up. You become the kids that you're around. We become the people that you're around. And it's so true because like people you hang out with, you start talking like you start
Yeah.
you're not copying them or whatever. You have the same interests. And
Yeah.
so
Birds of a feather
flock together.
I'm pretty say. The other thing is, and I'll go back to what I had first started saying, and I talked to you about this a lot, was that we aren't on our own priority list. We don't have our own identity a lot of times when we're going through a transition. There's a shift in our identity. So I was a Air Force wife, and now I'm not an Air Force wife. I was a stay-at-home homeschool mom, and then I wasn't going to be a homeschool mom. So there's kind of like a shift or transition in your life that can shift your identity a little bit. And so who are you? Like, what do you like? What do you like outside of your children? Can you have a conversation with someone and don't mention the kids? Those are both really hard things to do because they were so central to my life. Was I'm a homeschool mom. I have 4 children. They swim. I'm a swim team mom. Like, it was so central. That role was a major part of my identity. And so when you come out of a transition, or when you're coming out of survival mode, you have to be curious about yourself. Like, what do I like? Who am I? What is something this was a good question for me. Like, what was something I wanted to do at 7 when I was a 7-year-old that I could do now? Like, what is something, like, did I want to paint? Did I want to join a circus? What was it? Start exploring. And, I know you talked about this a lot. It's how important play is.
Yeah.
And play is a really good way to discover yourself, to go through a journey of self-discovery. So I read a book that said, called The Artist Way. And one of the suggestions was, take yourself on a day date. It doesn't have to cost money. You could just go explore an antique store or a secondhand store, or you could go for a walk. You could go to a cafe and just sit and journal and like just start discovering what you like outside of being a wife and a mom or a friend or a sister. Like, what do you like? And that is a really good step to taking back happy.
I think it sounds real simple when we're saying it, but it's not as simple as we're making it sound. Like, I remember really struggling with it. Like, why? I have no idea. Like,
yes,
if I'm not a homeschool mom, I'm not basketball mom, dance mom, like, because I'm so entwined. And I'm not sure that was healthy. I don't know that was good looking back. I mean, I loved it. I felt like I was in the center of God's will for sure. But like, maybe not to the extent that maybe I was too intertwined in that.
Yes.
That it just hurt so bad when it ended.
It's so weird. I remember being in therapy and she asked me, the hardest question I've ever heard was, well, what do you think about that? Or the second hard one, well, how does that make you feel? And I remember telling her, well, can I tell you next week? Because I don't know. I don't know how I feel about things. And I don't know what I think about things separate from being a spouse. Like, I don't know how to think about things as just me. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how. I don't know. And it was when I started walking, and then I wanted to go to the gym, and you started walking with me. And I remember one of the struggles I had, even going to the gym, was do I pay for a gym membership when it's just for me? Like, am I taking money? Am I misusing money by investing in myself, in my
Yes.
own health? I mean, it was a struggle to know if that was that was allowed.
Right. And you wouldn't have thought about that with dance classes
No.
or, swim lessons or, curriculum, anything.
Yeah.
Like you would have,
Jiu-jitsu,
right.
she's dancing, and I'm like, I don't think she's gonna dance professionally. Yes, let's go get $135 point shoes.
Yeah.
Let me volunteer, let me work somewhere to make money to get the things that they need. Should I spend $75 a month on me going to the gym? It's like a struggle to see that you are a priority too, that you matter.
Yeah. I think that kind of goes back kind of like the happiness though, like the spectrums, because you're like, is that selfish? Am I being selfish to think about me? Because we always, people talk about that as well. Like, you're too self-centered or you're too, and again, the spectrum is, yeah, you could be too self-centered, but you could also be over here like, I don't know if I can afford to go to the gym because I'm taking away from something.
Right. Right. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like I just had a thought. It reminds me like um where people think where you're over here, like you were saying, too selfish, and over here you can't won't even take yourself to the doctor because you
Right.
don't want to, you're gonna have to be hospitalized because you don't want to stop or say no to something or not do something for someone else. So you don't take care of yourself. So people are saying you're too selfish, or you're just like not there's not even a cup to pour out of because
Right.
you've gone so far the other way. Um,
Right.
and I think that is something that women struggle with, is finding that middle ground where they aren't being selfish by taking care of themselves. And one of the things that I did do pretty early was I did a 7-day self love challenge. And even saying self love, I was like, I don't know.
That sounds like not God's way.
That's not godly. I don't know if that's godly. Like self love.
Right.
I mean, that sounds selfish. Isn't that selfish? And the first thing she did was have us buy ourselves flowers. One thing she had us do is like write a affirmation on a mirror. It wasn't even anything big, but it
Right.
took thought and intention to join that challenge. I'm like, is this allowed? Can you do a self-love challenge? Can you buy flowers for yourself? Like, is that something you should be doing?
Right. I feel like that's something that would probably make God a little sad, even like
Yes.
we think we're being so like I can't even think the right word, not religious, but we think we're being so like
We're being good stewards.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're being really great stewards, and we're not buying stuff. We're not spending time or money on anything frivolous. It's always a need. We're meeting, like we're here
Right.
for the needs. We don't care about the wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think, when you're careful with who you're spending your time with, who you're hearing from, when you're giving yourself permission to be a priority in your life, and when you take time to be on a journey of self discovery, then you get to enter into a space uh, of taking back happy.
That's
Then
good.
you're like ready to like take back happy. Even consider that you are allowed to be happy. That it's okay for you to be happy. That really did take that was a struggle to allow yourself to have um the idea that you are allowed to be happy. One of the coaches that I had one time was like, God is very abundant. Like have you ever looked at a night sky with all the stars? Why do we have so many different types of flowers? Why do we have so many different types of trees? Why are there so many different things?
That's
And then we're like, oh, we can only have, you know, we can only have joy. We can't have happiness. We can only have survival. We can't have, yeah, like we can only have like, yeah, very small minded. It's very small. Um, and yeah, so taking back happy is very expansive. I feel like it really is trusting God more because you're saying, even though I've been through hard times, even though I've had hard things happen to me, and I know they will come again. Like life is it's cycles, it happens, it's seasons, it's never good. It's not like I'm trying to be happy every moment of every day at the expense of every relationship I have. But I think God is okay, more than okay with me being happy, loving my life and appreciating it, even when things aren't going quite like I want, because I know that too shall pass and I'll be able to see what I learned from that season. And God has always abundantly blessed the earth and blessed us as humans with so many talents and so many things that we cannot take happiness off the board. Happiness to be there too.
I love that. I love that you said happiness, like taking back happy is expansive. Like that happy is expansive. And
Yeah.
I probably like anything else, the more that you kind of practice it, the more that you kind of open yourself up to it, maybe open yourself up to it. Because again, a lot of people will say like you don't need happy, you just need the joy, the joy of the Lord or the and there is a difference between, because happy can be, with your circumstances.
Right.
Or it can just be looking out the window at the mountains
Yeah.
that got made. Like,
For sure. Seeing
Yeah.
the dewdrop on a leaf or hearing a baby chuckle. That's what,
Yeah. Oh, that's the coolest. That's the
what
coolest.
got me so confused about it. I was like, but we hear baby laughs. We hear
Right.
birds
A
singing.
big old belly laugh is so cute.
Like, how can we not have the right to be happy when he put all these little things in our lives that create that happiness? And it's expansive because you can share your happiness with others. Like you can comment on somebody's dress, or you can say, I love your smile. You can say hello. You can ask people how they're doing because you're in such an expansive space. You're impacting other people in a positive way. So you're taking back happy allows other people to take back their happy too.
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like passing it on, baby.
Yeah.
It's like, tag, you're it. But I think that's so true. Even when you come into a room with someone that's real expressive or happy or whatever, it is contagious. I mean, and the opposite is true.
Yes.
The opposite.
Yes.
If someone's real sad or they feel down, and it will bring you feel down,
I wonder if, one of the things I learned over the last couple of years was, and we kind of talked about this at church yesterday around forgiveness, but it was the two sides of every coin. And I shared this with you a couple of years ago is when I was really struggling with trying not to be disappointed. I was just like, I just don't want to I don't want to be disappointed. And I remember I was in a class and she said, if you, keep yourself safe where you don't feel any disappointment, then you can't feel joy because they're the flip side of the same coin. And happiness is the flip side of something too. Like we live in circumstances. So trying to say that we can't be happy because it's a circumstance, that's like denying reality. Like life is full of different circumstances. Things happen in our lives that we have no control over. And
that's true.
It just shifts our circumstances.
I think about that too. Like you can be in one of your worst circumstances and still be happy.
You can.
I know when my brother passed away a couple of years ago, and we went up for his celebration of life, and like all these things went wrong. Like I was like in charge supposedly, and so everything that could go wrong was going wrong. But then I walked out and I looked and it was snowing. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because it'll make me tear up now. But I love snow so much. And it was like on the day of his celebration of life. And it was in March. It wasn't normal in a time. And I was like, okay, this is just awesome. I just feel like it was like a little God wink, you know, like,
Yeah.
so he
I
just
love
sent
that.
that for me for that day to be encouraged. And when we got to the we got to the church and didn't have, I can't even remember, we didn't have the keys to the car. We had, anyway, one of us had to go back, and we got out there and we were waiting to get in the building, and snow is just like pouring down. And it's like the prettiest thing you ever saw.
Yeah. I do love that because, we're talking circumstances, and you can be in really hard circumstances and you can still love your life. Like you can still know, like just still have that deep love of your life. And I think to go back a little bit to knowing yourself, having an identity, it's because you're authentic. I kind of had felt like even if I get it wrong, it's my choices. It's my choices that are leading me to this. And that felt so good. Like, even if I mess up, even if I make a mistake, but it's a life when you are showing up as yourself, that there's nothing can beat that, is when you are happy and satisfied with the way you are showing up in your own life. And that's when taking back happy is like, yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
got
so hard though, because a lot of times we want to like give our authenticity away, give our realness away because like, what would they think? Or, that's not like everybody else or
yeah, it's a challenge because we are conditioned to think that everybody else is doing it better, right?
yeah.
It's like, especially with social media now, you can look at somebody's vacation pictures of their brand new house and their
Yes.
children and the scholar, all the things. But I think when you are able to sit in your own skin and give yourself grace and give yourself love and make yourself a priority, then when you are navigating life, it's so much more easy because you're not wearing a mask. You're not trying to fit in what other people think you should be like, and you're okay with yourself. And I think that is really the essence of taking back happy, is learning to be okay with who you are. And then everything else can come and go, but you're okay because you're okay.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. Like, preach it, girl. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, we could go on and talk about numerous things, but I love just sticking just to this topic. This is actually a challenge for us to stick to one topic because usually I'm like, oh wait, one more thing. Oh wait, one more thing. So it's been a real treat. Is there anything else that stands out to you with the taking back happy or something that inhibits, or do you have any like steps to help yourself be more authentic even or more
Right.
any of those things? Definitely the circle of friends. You can
Right.
that you can
Definitely a circle of friends. I think I had a trouble with being very judgmental, and I found when I was judgmental to others, I was also judgmental of myself. And this
yeah,
was a secret power that I learned over the last couple of years, is be curious. And I think this is a key step. Oh, we got 30 minutes. A key step to taking back happy and getting to know yourself is curiosity. When you're curious, you're more open minded. You have a more open mindset. You have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. And so curiosity is like a key to a door where you get to be just in situations, in community, in connections with other people and with yourself. And you're not judging it. You're not shaming yourself. You're not shooting yourself. You're just learning. You're just curious. And so I think, that would be one of my things I would end with. Well, yeah, that I would want to leave with people is that life is ever changing and you want to be a person who's able to change with it. But also just be curious about yourself. Be curious about other people. A lot of times we are made, if we get into a judging mindset, we're projecting onto people. So it's like, what is it about that person that's bothering me? What is it within me that is causing me to be so hung up on what they're saying or what they're doing? Just allow yourself to be curious about things. And I think it is such a great way for authenticity, identity, and connection, because people love when someone asks them about themselves
right. Yeah.
instead of trying to tell them what to do, which is what I used to like to do. It's like, oh, you know what you should do? You should do these things. And they're like, oh, thanks.
And they're more open, they're more receptive to anything
Yeah.
you have. you're building a bridge with them. You're building a connection where they're trusting you,
Yeah.
if you're being curious and
Yeah.
it's authentically curious. It's not,
Yeah,
it's
you're really curious. Because curiosity helps us see each other as people. And I think when we can see each other as, in the image of God, instead of like projecting or making judgments, then we open up all kinds of possibilities. And that is a real cool way to be authentic and to take back happy. Is it to embrace the fact that there's so many different possibilities out there of how life is going to go. And you're going to be, um, intentional about how you put yourself in those situations to take back happy, right?
yeah, that's awesome. So we're going to wrap up, but let me tell us just a little bit about your Wonderfully You program. How did it come about? What's your heart behind it?
Oh, thanks for asking, Gina. I think one of the biggest things that it came out for me when I came out of divorce, usually we don't change because we want to. A lot of times, like the majority of time, change is because we have to. It's not something that we usually initiate on our own. And because of the divorce, because of the change that brought about, it made me realize that I wasn't authentic. Like I didn't know myself. I didn't know who I was without a husband, without a Air Force community, without all these outside things that were going to change. I thought my identity were all the roles that I played, the accolades, the master's degrees. Like I thought that was it. And so when some of it started getting stripped down, it makes you realize like, who am I at my core? You're somebody innately, and then you have gifts and talents on top of that. But who am I? And so wonderfully you came out of a journey of discovering that I was somebody wonderful before I ever did anything. Like your identity is not, and your worth is not based on what you do. It's based on the fact that you are here, that you're born, that you're created in God's image. And there is a scripture in the Bible that talks about being, wonderfully made and being made by the works of God's hand, and knowing that what he makes is well, like it's done really well. And it says, you're what I'm wonderfully wonderful. I think it says wonderfully you. And I just love that because I think a lot of times we lose ourselves and all our things. And this was a reminder. This brought me back into, you don't have to be a wife. You don't have to be a mother. You don't have to be a businesswoman to be important to me, to be important to God, and to have a purpose on earth. And so wonderfully you came out of that. It's like discovering that you're important, that you matter, not because of what you do, but because of who and whose you are. And so it is a program for women. It's coaching for women, whether it's one-on-one coaching or small group coaching. I really love building community. So I do a lot of community building with my local church and in local coffee shops. I have a coffee talk that I build a community with. And it's just as a safe space for women to like look at what's holding them back from living a life that they love and living a life that they want to show up for. Right? Because it's easy to have a life that you're not like excited.
Yeah.
Not excited about.
I like how it was your journey. It was your struggle. It was like you were living this out, and now you're sharing it with others.
Yes.
So
I want women to have
expensive.
Right. I want them to have a level of freedom that they know that they are worth any time or effort, any investment, any dream that they might have, that they are wonderful and that they deserve it. They deserve to have a good life.
Yeah, that's so cool. So tell everybody where they can find you, and I'll also put it in the notes under here.
Okay. Well, you can find me on Facebook. My pages are public. So Lawana Schrieffer, you can just find me on Facebook. Send me I would love to get a friend request. I'm also on Instagram. That's public. And I also have a website. And if you want to get that, become friends with me. Like I would rather you like become friends with me and I send you the website. Because I don't have it in my bio really, but I want to say it's because
Right.
because I'm not organized enough to have it like public facing. But yeah, I think you can learn a lot about me on my Facebook pages and in my Instagram, and I would just love to connect either one of those social media sites. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I've been, ever since I started this podcast, I've been saying, would you like to come on my podcast soon? And so I have a feeling you might see her again another time.
Oh, thank you so much, Gina.
That's like when we were trying to decide what topic today, we were like, well, we could talk about this, or we could talk about this. And then we're like, let's start with Taking Back Happy, because
Yes, this is where it started.
Yeah.
Lots of conversations about women. Are you allowed to be happy? Is God pleased with wanting to be happy? And I always say God is pleased with you wanting to be happy, or he wouldn't have made you have the capacity to be happy.
Right. I love it. And that'll be our final like note here, God is made you to be happy. He's wants you to be happy. It's not like he wants, I don't know. I don't want to get off on the whole from the beginning again. But in one sentence, say that one more time, what you just said. Like, would you say he made you to be happy, or would you say he wants you to be happy?
God created us to feel all the things that he feels, and he delights in us.
Yeah.
So he created us with the capacity to be happy.
Right.
Be happy.
Well, we should embrace it, because it's just part of what he wants us to be.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, my friend. Have a good night.
Thank you.
If this podcast blessed and encouraged you today, I'd love for you to share it with your friends. You can take a screenshot and share it in your stories, but make sure you tag me at Gina Granville so we can connect. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you join my Taking Back Happy Facebook group. I'll meet you back here soon, and we'll continue taking back happy together.